Hey guys, Max here from Evidence-Based Football Manager. Today we're doing another tactic test. The tactic we're testing today is called Red Baron's Lonely Peak, which is a tactic I found on FM-based website. This tactic is made by Heelmuth, and I have attached the link for this tactic in the description below. As always, let's start by having a brief look at the tactic. So this is another strikerless tactic with a lone shadow striker up front. Wingers are used on the sides, and there are two central midfielders both on attacking duties. Inverted wingbacks are used, which means I'll be using right-footed wingbacks on the left-hand side and left-footed wingbacks on the right-hand side. Guys, I use a system that I have developed myself to test a Football Manager tactic. I have uploaded a video separately to explain that system, link provided below. Basically what I do is I set up a neutral football match played between two teams that are composed of players that are perfectly identical to each other. Then I play that same match over and over again and record the results. The aim is to create a testing environment where the variables that could affect the match results are controlled as much as possible, and I keep repeating the same match until I can gather a big enough sample pool. So I ran this test using the Red Baron tactic, and I have compiled the results into an Excel spreadsheet. Let's have a look at it together. So I have two teams here, Arsenal and Liverpool, where all the players are 13 in all attributes, which is equivalent to around 140 current ability rating, which represents a typical mid-table club player in the Premier League. Arsenal is using the Red Baron tactic, and Liverpool is using 5 different tactics that represent a variety of football formations and styles. So after a total of 50 trials, it is 28 wins for Arsenal, 17 draws, and 5 wins for Liverpool. Remember, Arsenal is the team that is using the Red Baron tactic, so the fact that Arsenal has a lot more wins here compared to Liverpool tells me that this Red Baron tactic can outperform other teams when the two teams are of equal strength. Next, I try to simulate an underdog versus top team situation, so this time I changed the attributes of Liverpool players from 13 to 15. A player with 15 in all attributes translates to a current ability rating of around 180, which represents a world-class player. So I repeat the same 50 trials again, and this time we have 12 wins for Arsenal, 8 draws, and 30 wins for Liverpool. You can see that the number of wins here has shifted towards Liverpool compared to the previous set of results, but Arsenal is still able to get a decent number of wins and draws, which I guess testifies to how effective this tactic would be, even when your team is the underdog. Now I'm going to show you an actual playthrough that I did in FM21 using this tactic. I wanted to go with a team that's not one of the top teams in its league. I mean, what's the point in testing a tactic if you're going to go with a team that's going to win everything anyway, right? So I chose to go with Stade Rennes of Ligue 1. At the game setup page, Rennes is expected to finish 5th in Ligue 1, so it will be interesting to see how far this team can go using this Red Baron tactic. Rennes has one of my favourite players in FM21, the one and only Eduardo Camavinga. Camavinga is one of the best wonder kids in FM21, and of course in recent days he is being linked to a move to Manchester United, which is the club that I support, which is very exciting. I really hope it happens. Other than Camavinga though, I must say the rest of the Rennes squad is somewhat lackluster. I haven't even heard of half of these players, to be completely honest. At the start of the game, I did disable the first transfer window, and I didn't make any transfers in the winter transfer window as well, which means that I used the exact same first team squad throughout the entire season. I did have to retrain some of my players at the start of the season in order to get them to fit into the Red Baron tactic. For example, this tactic doesn't use any strikers, so my existing strikers such as Sergio Guirassy had to be retrained in the shadow striker role. Also, my left and right wingbacks had to switch sides to fit into the inverted wingback role. So for example, Hamari Traore, who is originally a right-footed right wingback, had to retrain as a left inverted wingback, and Muwasa, who is originally a left-footed left defender, had to retrain to become a right inverted wingback. So the fact that this Red Baron tactic uses player roles that are not too common in Football Manager, such as shadow strikers and inverted wingbacks, it does mean that some of your players will need retraining to fit into their new roles, and it could take some time for those players to grow into their new roles. So I started the season, and wow, what a tactic this is. It was goals after goals and wins after wins. The board expectation at the start of the season was to finish top half of the table, but that was very easily achieved as Rennes quickly became a force to be reckoned with in the French league. Our main competitor in the league was of course the mighty PSG, and the two teams, Rennes and PSG, were constantly flipping between first and second place in the league throughout the season, fighting for the top spot. Goals were scored by my players in a variety of ways. A common goal scoring pattern was to utilise the wingers and the wingbacks. So these wide players would run up the sidelines and make crosses into the penalty box, and either my shadow striker or the central midfielders would be waiting in the box to finish the goals. For example here, Rennes is playing Marseille and Bourigeaud, my right winger, is running up the sidelines. Uno, my shadow striker, is waiting in the box and Bourigeaud delivers a deadly cross towards him and Uno is able to finish the goal. The Red Baron tactic instructs players to make low crosses, meaning that the crosses made by my players were mainly aimed at their teammates' feet and not their heads. For example here, Rennes is playing Lille. Del Castillo, who is my left winger, has possession of the ball near the byline. Castillo makes a low cross into the centre of the box and Tate, who is my right winger, is able to score the goal. Let me show you this end of season statistics quickly. So if you have a look at the number of headers won, Rennes is ranked at 18th out of 20, which is very low. Now this doesn't mean that my players were bad at winning headers. As you can see here in the headers won ratio, Rennes is ranked as 7th out of 20, so my players can win headers if they wanted to. It's just that there were not many headers to be won in the first place because my players were told to make low crosses to their teammates instead of floated or whipped crosses. The fact that this Red Baron tactic uses low crosses means that it will work well for your team if your strikers are small in height or if they have low jumping reach attributes and therefore not expected to win too many headers during a match. The Red Baron tactic instructs players to make more direct passes, which can result in devastating counterattacks. For example, this is a Monaco versus Rennes match and Rugani, who is my central defender, has possession of the ball. He spots Niang, my shadow striker, at the front line and makes a long pass directly to him, bypassing the midfield, and Niang is able to finish the goal. In this example here, Muasa, who is my right wing back, sees Uno at the front and makes a deadly long pass to him, which catches the Lyon defenders off guard, and Uno is able to score the goal. Now we all know that in a game of football, the longer the pass, the less accurate it becomes. So when you're using the Red Baron tactic, it is important to use players who possess good passing skills. Otherwise, you're going to risk losing possession of the ball to the opposition. This is evident when you look at the detailed statistics at the end of the season. So in terms of average ball possession, Rennes is ranked as 13th out of 20 with 48% average possession. If you look at the average pass completion, Rennes is 19th in the league with only 84% overall pass completion. And finally, if you look at the number of times ball possession was lost during a match, Rennes is at the rock bottom of the table at 20th. So as you can see from these stats, this Red Baron tactic is not very good at maintaining possession of the ball, and that's probably contributed by the fact that the players are instructed to play a direct style of passing. Ironically, if you look at the number of times ball possession was won, Rennes is ranked as number 1 out of 20. This means that while your players may lose the ball a lot during a match, they will at least try to win it back as soon as possible. This is probably due to the players being instructed to tackle harder, as well as having the team instruction extremely urgent pressing intensity turned on. So let us fast forward to the end of the season and see how we went. Guys, I came second in the league, 4 points behind PSG. We put up a good fight against PSG for the title throughout the season, but in the end, PSG was the team that ultimately prevailed, and they were crowned champions of Ligue 1. Rennes performed even poorer in the Champions League. We were in the same group as Benfica, Olympiacos and Sevilla, which was a pretty good draw, I must say. But yeah, Rennes was just not good enough, and I couldn't make it past the group stage. To be fair, I did use my reserve players in the Champions League matches because I wanted to focus more on the league and I wanted to rest my first team players in the Champions League matches. So I guess it's not too much of a surprise that we didn't get past the group stage. Let's have a look at the detailed stats again. So in Ligue 1, Rennes scored 94 goals, which is the highest in the league. And in terms of the goals conceded, Rennes gave away 19 goals, which is the second lowest in the league, which is pretty good. So guys, overall, the Red Baron's Lonely Peak tactic has worked quite well for me. Rennes was expected to finish 5th in the league at the start of the game, but I ended up challenging for the title, which I would say is a great performance by the team. Now guys, I have mentioned in my previous video that one season result doesn't carry too much statistical significance. It's basically because there's a bit of luck involved in every game of Football Manager, so the fact that I came 2nd in the league this time with Rennes, it could just be because I got lucky. So while I had a lot of fun managing Rennes with this tactic, do take the results shown in this video with a pinch of salt. Guys, that is it for today. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.